Few groves of the present day have any really solid qualities. Any of the qualities that last and improve with time. We live, I regret to say, in an age of services. Come over here, dear. Oh, dear child, your dress is sadly simple, and your hair looks almost as nature might have left it. But we can soon alter that. A thoroughly experienced French maid produces a really marvelous result in a very brief space of time. I remember recommending one to young Lady Lansing, and after 3 months, her own husband did not know her.
And after 6 months, nobody knew her.
Kindly turn around, sweet child. No, the side view is what I want. Yes, quite as I expected. There are distinct social possibilities in your profile. The 2 weak points in our age are its want of principle and its want of profile. The chin a little higher, dear. Style largely depends on the way the chin is worn. They're worn very high just at present. Algernon.
Yes, Aunt Augusta?
There are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the dearest, sweetest, prettiest girl I ever met, and I don't care two pence about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only people who can't get into it do that. Of course, dear, you will understand that Algernon has nothing but his debts to depend upon. But I do not approve of mercenary marriages. When I married Lord Bracknell, I had no fortune of any kind, but I never dreamed for a moment of allowing that to stand in my way. Well, I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cecily, you may kiss me.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell.
You may also address me as Aunt Augusta for the future.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
The marriage, I think, had better take place quite soon.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
To speak frankly, I am not in favor of long engagements. They give people the opportunity of finding out each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell. However, you must be told that I am Cecily's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she comes of age. That consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say, ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more can one desire?
It pains me very much to speak frankly to you about your own nephew. However, I don't approve of his moral conduct. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon? Impossible. He is an Oxonian.
Well, there's no doubt about the matter. During my temporary absence to London on an important question of romance, he obtained admission to my house under the false pretense of being my brother. Under an assumed name, he drank, I was told by my butler, a pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brew 89 wine I was saving specially for myself. Continually his disgraceful deception, he subsequently stayed, and during the course of the afternoon, alienated the affections of my only ward. Subsequently, he stayed and ate every single muffin. To make it all the worse, he knew from the start that I had no brother, that I had never had a brother, and that I had no intentions of any kind of ever having a brother in the future. I told him so myself yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Worthing, after careful consideration, I have decided entirely to overlook my nephew's conduct to you.
How very kind of you. However, my own decision is unalterable.
Come here, dear. How old are you?
Well, I'm really only 18, but I always admit to 20 when going to evening parties.
You are quite right in making some slight alteration. Indeed, no woman should be quite accurate about her own age. It looks so calculating. 18, but admitting to 20 at evening parties. Well, it will not be very long before you are of age and free from the restraints of tutelage, so I do not think that your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you again. However, I feel that you must know that according to her grandfather's will, Cecily does not come of age until she is 35.
That does not seem to me a grave objection. London society is full of women of the very highest birth, who have of their own free choice remained 35 for years. Lady Dumpton is an instance in point. To my own knowledge, she has been 35 ever since she arrived at the age of 40, which was many years ago now. I see no reason why our dear Cecily will not be even still more attractive at the age you mentioned than she is at present. There will be a large accumulation of property.
Algie, could you wait for me till I was 35?
Of course I could. You know I could.
Yes, I felt it instinctively. But I couldn't wait all that time. I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anybody. I know I myself am not punctual, but I do like punctuality in others. And waiting even to be married is quite out of the question.
Then what is to be done, Cecily?
I don't know, Mr. Moncrief.
My dear Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states positively that she cannot wait till she is 35, a remark which I am bound to say seems to me to display a somewhat impatient nature, I would beg of you to reconsider your decision.
But my dear Lady Bracknell, you must realize that the entire matter is in your own hands. The moment you consent to my marriage with Gwendolyn, I will allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward.
You must be quite aware that what you propose is out of the question.
Then a passionate celibacy is all that any of us have to look forward to.
That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolyn. Algernon, of course, can choose for himself. Come, dear, we've already missed 5, if not 6 trains. To miss any more might expose us to comment on the platform.
Everything is quite ready for the christenings.
The christenings, sir, is that not somewhat premature?
These 2 gentlemen have expressed the need for immediate baptism.
At their age, the idea is grotesque and irreligious. Algernon, I forbid you to be baptized. I will not hear of such excesses. Lord Bracknell would be highly displeased if he learned that that was the way in which you are wasting your time and money.
Am I to understand there are to be no christenings this afternoon?
I don't think as things are now, that would be of much practical value, Dr. Jocelyn.
I'm grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Worthing. They savor of the heretical views of the Anabaptists, views that I've completely refuted in 4 of my unpublished sermons. Seeing as how your mood is peculiarly secular, I will return to the church at once. Indeed, I've just been informed by the pew opener that for the last hour and a half, Miss Prism has been waiting for me in the vestry.
Miss Prism? Did I hear you mention a Miss Prism?
Yes, Lady Bracknell, I'm on my way to join her.
Pray allow me to detain you for a moment. This may prove to be a matter of vital importance to Lord Bracknell and myself. Is this Miss Prism a female of repellent aspect, remotely connected with education?
She is the most cultivated of ladies and the very picture of respectability.
It is obviously the same person. May I ask what position she holds in your household?
I am a celibate, madam.
Miss Prism, Lady Bracknell, has been for the past 3 years Cecily's esteemed governess and valued companion.
In spite of what I hear of her, I must see her at once. Let her be sent for.
She approaches. She is nigh.
I was told you expected me in the vestry, dear Canon. I have been waiting there for an hour and 3/4.
Prism! Come here, Prism! Prism, where is that baby? 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house, number 104 Upper Grosvenor Street, in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, through the elaborate investigations of the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered by itself, standing in a remote corner of Bayswater at midnight. It contained the manuscript of a 3-volume novel of more than usually revolting sentimentality. But the baby was not there. Prism, where is that baby?
Lady Bracknell, with shame I do not know. I wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning in which you mentioned, a morning that will forever be branded on my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in his perambulator. I also had with me a somewhat old but capacious handbag in which I had intended to store a manuscript of a work of fiction that I had been working on in my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction, for which I can never forgive myself, I placed the baby in the handbag and placed my manuscript in the bassinet.
But where did you deposit that handbag, Miss Prism?
Do not ask me, Mr. Worthing.
Miss Prism, I insist on knowing where you put the handbag that had the baby in it.
In the cloakroom of one of London's larger railway stations.
What cloak?
Victoria. The Brighton line.
I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolyn, you will wait for